Am I the asshole for refusing to feed my sister's kids for free every day? My older sister, 37 female, has 3 kids under 10. I, 25 male, don't have kids yet, but I'm a junior sous chef and I cook a lot in my spare time. During some recent time off from work, my sister asked if I could babysit her kids after school for 3 days. I said yes. I watched the kids, she paid me for it, and I thought that would be it. Then she asked me what the kids ate with me after the week had ended, and she wanted to know how I got her kids to eat a full meal. Her kids are picky eaters. They are typically the kids who will eat what they like off of a plate, meat and potatoes, rice or noodles, and then they leave the rest, like the veggies and the sauces. According to my sister and brother-in-law, even if you give more veggies than something else, they won't eat them, and they'll wait until their next meal. And if you give all the veggies or insist they eat the veggies before anything else, they'll skip the meal. I sort of knew that about them before I babysat, so I blended the veggies and other good stuff into their dinner the first day with me, and the second day I served them, but I hid them in plain sight. And on the last day, I just served them the way they don't get them normally, and because they knew they had them, they ate them without an issue. But they wouldn't eat them for my sister or brother-in-law after. There was some back and forth between us, and I shared some recipes, but my sister said she couldn't get them to eat the food. So she wanted me to make food for her kids every day. I asked if she was going to pay me for spending all that time and money, and she told me I should do it as a way to help my nieces and nephews stay healthy. I told her that's a big ask. She told me I have a chance to really help and put my skills to good use for family. I feel like it's asking a lot because they would expect me to make something every day for the kids. But my sister feels like I'm being a bad brother and uncle. So am I the asshole?
Okay, I have some internalized misogyny here because I thought OP was a girl. But it's obviously a man.
It says right at the beginning, I, 25 male.
I didn't listen to that, obviously.
Right over Teresa's head.
Okay, well, no, you're not an asshole. That is a huge ask. Can you imagine every night? Oh, okay, we're going to Uncle's for dinner.
No. Like, I can get because he's a chef, and I can totally understand asking your chef brother to cook meals.
But pay him.
The delusional part for me is the fact that you are not willing to pay him.
Yes,
I'd be like,
exactly.
hey, do you want a side gig of like bulk making and prepping dinners for my kids so that they're eating all their veggies and they're doing all of that stuff?
Exactly.
So
yeah, it's not really like yes, it's a bit weird and time consuming to commit to just making your nieces and nephews food every night, but like for it to be paid, it's like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, like if it's a paid, it's like a part-time job, like a little side hustle, a little side gig. He is a chef.
Yeah.
So that's like, you're not just asking him because he's a good cook. Mm-hmm. Like if like he is a chef, that is your job. I'm asking you if you'd like a little side hustle and I'm willing to pay you for it. That's not delusional. The fact that he should do it and you're trying to guilt him that, oh, don't you want your nieces and nephews to eat healthy?
Yeah.
And I always say that when I see siblings with this huge age gap, she's 37, he's 25, 12 years apart, they're not even really siblings. Like, she would have been out of the house almost, unless she stayed home for a long time, before he was really, like, cognitive. You know what I mean? Like, she would have been 12 when he was born. So the time that he gets 5, she's 17. He's just starting, and then she could be out of the house. So that's like a huge age gap for me, where I always look at those and I'm like, okay, how close are they as siblings? So this probably is an even bigger ask than it was like Madison asking me right now. Like, we're really close, like close in age gap, but then just like no money.
Yeah. No, it is truly delusional and entitled.
Very entitled.
So entitled.
Yeah, it's like Madison, so entitled, says that she's going to move closer back to Toronto to be near family, and calls me up and is like, hey, are you willing to babysit Andrew once per month? How entitled is that? I was like, what? I'm willing to do it once per week.
Duh.
Yeah.
You're asking her, when can I come babysit?
When can I babysit? I am number 2 trained right now.
A flex.
Yeah, it was flex. I guess we'll get into the life updates at the end of the episode. We went and visited Madison on Saturday.
Yes, we did.
Well, we went and visited Andrew, and Madison and Chris happen to be there.
Yep.
Top comment on this one. Not the asshole. Does your sister know how much food costs? If she wants to buy the food and bring it over and provide the disposable to-go boxes, then I think you should do it. I cook for people all the time for free, but they pay for the food. If you enjoy it, it gives you experience, but only if she pays for the food and costs associated with it.
That's a fair point too, because it's not only you're asking to be paid for your time, which that was my assumption, but also the costs. Like,
yeah. Also, I'm still not even on board with that. She's like, if she brought the food and the to-go boxes,
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
No.
What about his
no.
time?
Still
You're not
no.
putting anything on his time.
Yeah, like what, he has to work like a 8 to 10 hour day and then come home and work unpaid labor,
Right?
for your kids? Like, no.
Is this a bad take? But like, how do parents not discipline their kids to eat their veggies?
I was trying to think that, like, what do you do in this situation?
Yeah, see, I feel like I'm a bad thought process for this because I had a scarring childhood
Yes.
when it came to food.
We know.
And I wouldn't want to do the same thing to my kids.
Yes.
But I feel like I would figure out a way to get them to eat their veggies.
I wouldn't know how. I think hiding it is a good,
Like
doing the
the meals where it blends
Yeah.
in and it's like in there is
Yeah.
pretty good. Like, you know, blend the corn with the mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else get their mashed potatoes and then get the corn bowl and then put the corn right on top of the mashed potatoes, and then they put the gravy on top of the mashed potatoes and the corn, and it's a delicious slop.
Slop.
Kind of looks sloppy when you get the liquid in there and stuff. I always do that every Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's how I like to eat my mashed potatoes and corn.
Yep.
But I feel like I would have no problem getting kids to eat vegetables. But I guess in 5 years when Andrew's old enough,
Please.
we'll find out how good I am.
So confident.
I am.
No,
but I have no experience.
reasoning, no experience, nothing to back it up.
I agree with that.
I could do it.
I feel like I can. If you guys stick along in 5 years, stick around 5 years, we'll find out.
Sure.
Well, when would Andrew start and be in that phase? How old do they get when they got to teach them to eat
probably
their
like
veggies?
4.
4 or something like that. You got to negotiate, right? You want screen time. You want something else. You want to leave the kitchen table.
God.
Okay, OP does reply to that comment and says, she wanted me to accept the cost, even though she's already been saving money by buying less. I don't get that. Buying less. Like,
Yeah, buying less food.
I don't. Oh, because he's been cooking
Yeah.
for them. Well, how often does he do that? I thought this was like a one-time thing that they go over.
I don't know. All right. Me?
Okay, back to you.
Back to me.